All right, had to unmute myself there. Listen, tonight it's going to be a good one. We're talking about calories. How many should you be eating? How many do you need to eat? And how do you track it? I'm going to try to simplify this for you tonight to make it super easy for you. We are going to do a little bit of math. Not that you have to do it, but it's just going to show you how simple it really can be. But first, we got to get down to the basics of what calories are, right? And everybody knows when you eat food, they contain calories. These calories we use to live, do daily activities. That's pretty much energy that we need, right? So food is never a bad thing. But let's talk about body weight. So let's say you weigh 165 pounds and you're like, man, Jared, I want to weigh 150 pounds. Simple. To calculate the amount of calories you need, you just multiply your goal weight by 12, okay? Now, we'll get into all that math here in a second, but just know goal body weight times 12. So, protein, carbs, and fats. Now, these are not all equal. Proteins, obviously, we know we need those. Carbs come in the form of sugars, complex carbohydrates. We're not going to get into that, but we need those, and fat too. A lot of people like to cut fat out of their diet. Don't be one of those people. Keep it in there. It's a lot of healthy things about that. But let's break down that fat, carbs, and proteins are not equal in the amount of calories they carry. So protein will carry about 4 calories per gram, right? Okay, yeah. Just want to make sure I get that right. Carbs, or like, hold on a second. Yeah. 4 calories of carbs per gram. And then fat carries double that. It's 9 calories per gram. So you can see where if you load up on fat, how you're doubling up on energy really fast. A lot of people go, how many carbs, how much protein, and how much fat do I need in my diet? Well, I broke it down the simplest way I could, just based on just average living, not, working out or trying to compete or anything like that. Just normal daily living. What's the breakdown? Well, for proteins, it's going to be different for everybody. And again, if you've been with me in the past live streams, you'll already know that the amount of protein you should be taking in daily, you just want to multiply your body weight times 1, or your goal body weight times 1. So let me say that again. If you weigh 165 pounds, you want to weigh 150. You will literally just multiply 150 times 1, and that's how many grams of calories or grams of protein you should be eating a day. So let's break that down. So goal body weight, let me just pull this up on screen for you too. All right. So goal body weight's 150, right? Our goal body weight is 150. So 150 times 12, that's 1800 calories that we need a day, right, to hit that. Protein, it's 150, our goal body weight, times 1, so it's 150 grams of protein. We're going to multiply that by 4, right? Because that's how many calories. I don't know why I put grams here, but it's how many calories are in protein per gram. So that's 600 total calories for every day needs to be protein. Quite a bit, right? So 18 total amount of calories, 1800 minus 600 equals 1200 total calories left. Let me put that in there. So this is total, right? Protein. Pretty simple. I'll fill all this in, so if you want this document, I'll send it to you. I'll fill on these little things I haven't done before. So this is going to be a little confusing, so now I'm using like decimal points and all that stuff. 1200 calories, because a normal daily person, just a normal average person, let's say that, daily intake for carbs, 45 to 65%. I'm just going to do 45 to stay on the lower end, okay? So 1200 calories, that's how many we have left, times 0.45 equals 540 carb calories, okay? 540 carb calories plus our 600 from protein gives us 1440, right? Make sense? 1800 calories minus the 1440, boom, gives us 660 fat calories left. I know it's very confusing, and I'm going to break down a little bit this a little bit easier for you, but I'm just kind of showing you how I would first break down everything. Right when I get started on my diet, this is how I'm going to do it. So at the very end, after all of this, I know we went by this quick, I will go back over it, just bear with me. Protein is 600 calories. I just divided by 4 to show you again that's 150 grams, all right, a day. Carbs, 540 calories. Divide that by 4, because that's how many calories are in per gram of carb, right? 135 grams of carbs. Fats, 660 calories. Divide that by 9. It's 73 grams of carbs. That's a little high in my opinion. I like to stay around 60 or below. But if you do this just one time and just stick with it, you're done with the math. You don't got to do it again. That's the great thing about it. So let's go over this again. The main thing I want you to really take from this is if you literally just pick your goal body weight, and you have to be, I mean, you have to think pretty hard like what's realistic for a goal body weight. You know, let's just say you're, I don't know, 110 pounds and you want to be like 85 pounds, right? Because some people just freak out and they want to be super skinny. Obviously, that's not healthy. That's not what you want to do. You need to be realistic on your goals and like, are you taller? Are you shorter? How do you hold weight? You know, all these things become a factor, but I think most of us can come up with a realistic goal. And I always like to start off with something small. So maybe like a 10 to 15 pound loss at first, not 20 or 30. Because that's a major change of probably where you're at. So first and foremost, be realistic on your goals. Start with just a 10-pound difference from where you're at now. Okay, it's really that simple. If you Google, hey, how do I figure out my total caloric intake to lose 20 grams of fat or 20 pounds, you're gonna get all this crazy math. And yeah, it might work, but this is a simple way that is effective and will work for everybody, I promise. So goal body weight, let's subtract whatever you have now by 10 pounds and multiply by 12. That's how many calories you need. Second big thing is to make sure you put in those protein calories or grams of protein you need a day. If you want to be 150 pounds, you need 150 grams of protein, okay? This is really important because if you just stick to that right there, most people will start losing weight because a lot of us just don't get our protein intake. And most of us who are trying to lose weight, we are strength training, weight training, doing some type of activity. Well, we'll need that protein to recover anyways. And right now I can tell you that 90% of us aren't getting it. So if you just focus on the protein first and foremost, you'll already see a difference because you're going to limit the amount of calories you're getting from fat and carbs and everything else. Trust me on that. The rest of the math is to really just kind of show you a breakdown of how to make sure you get the exact amount of grams and calories that you need. And like I said, I'll be more than happy. I'll finish this document up. I know it looks a little jumbled. I'll fix it all up so it's easy to read and I can send it to you. But I don't want you to think that every week, every month, you have to redo this body weight goal. You only have to do it every time you change the weight you want to be. So not every day, blah, 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 blah. It's really cut, dry, and simple. But let's say you just want to do the protein calories and you don't want to have to do all the math to figure out your carbs and fats. Me personally, I'm one of those people, I don't like to just count everything and do all the math. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to that. So what I will literally do is, like I said, I will stick my protein, the amount of grams I will take a day is either 60 or less. And I really try to make it a lot less than that. And the reason I don't like to tell you how much fat or protein or fat or carbs to take in is because everybody's a little different. Some people can have an avocado that has a ton of fat in it, and then no carbs and feel great. Some people, if they don't have any carbs, they feel super sluggish, they feel super tired, super weak. So you kind of have to figure out where's the balance for you. But a good rule of thumb is if your fat content is 60 grams or lower, you're in business. So it's really that simple. Calories are not your enemy, they are needed. And 1800 calories, 1200 calories, whatever your count comes out to, you want to stick to around that number. So let's say you are at 1200 calories and you had 1250 calories one day. That's not going to kill you. The goal isn't to always hit that exact number for you guys, but the goal is to stick around that number because there will be some days it'll be less and some days it'll be a little bit more and it'll even itself out. But you want to try to stick around that number. Now, the big problem is not eating too many calories. I think a lot of people now, they have a problem with eating too few calories. Many people come up to me saying, like, I'm trying to lose a lot of weight. I'm only eating 700 calories a day, 800 calories a day, just starving myself, drinking plenty of water. If you're fasting for 24 hours or whatever it is you're doing, okay, maybe. But if you do that long term, sure, you'll see quite a bit of weight loss in the beginning, right? Because you're not eating anything. But eventually, when you go back to a normal diet, your body's just going to suck everything in because it's a little terrified of not having calories in the future because it's going to remember you being in starvation mode. So I highly recommend you stay away from not eating food, okay? I know a lot of people, I don't know why it's a big thing, but a lot of people really think that if you just eat really low calories, you're going to see amazing results and it's sustainable. I don't even know how you guys can go out throughout your day and be happy when you have 700 calories. But when it comes to holidays, going out, birthdays, whenever you talk to me about like, hey, Jared, how I'm like what's a good cheat meal? I always say go towards the sugars, the carbs before the fats. Just because fats are double the amount of calories, right? Doesn't mean you should eat double the amount of sugar cookies because you didn't have that cheesecake, but it does mean like, hey, if you're at a party, try to find something and maybe a little bit more sugary than fatty, because that's going to be half the amount of calories, right? Anybody have questions over any of that? I know that was really quick. But again, the main takeaways are going to be goal body weight. So subtract where you're at now by 10 pounds. That goal body weight times 12. That's the amount of calories you need to stick with per day. Okay? Be somewhere around there. Protein, goal body weight times 1. Can't get any easier than that. You do that right there, and you're going to be at a calorie deficit, I can almost promise you, because most of y'all aren't even eating near enough protein. And then, whatever calories you have left after your protein, you just multiply that by 0.45 or 0.35, whatever amount of carbs you think you need. That'll tell me how many calories you need, and then subtract that number from your total, and that'll tell you how much fat. Again, I can send this document to you. Don't want you to get too high strung about doing math every single month. Because at the end of the day, too, if you stick to that calorie limit, you're going to lose weight regardless of if it's from fats, proteins, or carbs. If you eat all protein and no carbs, okay, I don't recommend that. If you eat all carbs, a little bit of protein and no fats, sure. Split it up however you want, but if you stay within that calorie limit that you're getting for your goal body weight, you'll lose weight. So don't think I have to have a certain amount of carbs to lose weight, or I have to knock carbs out of my diet, or I have to go keto. We can get into all that stuff at another live stream, but just know, however you want to break it up, whatever feels comfortable to you, that you feel good with, as long as you stay in that calorie limit, you're good to go. So we will just take a few seconds here. If anybody has any questions, please shoot them to me. If you want this document, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. Just reach out to me on social media, text me if you have my number, and I will email that to you. But it's really that simple, guys. It really, really is. And I would say for me personally, I eat way more carbs than I do fats. My fat intake probably right now is somewhere in the 20s or 30s. So super low. But when I'm really feeling sluggish, I'll down the carbs. So that's how I roll. Doesn't mean you have to. I would recommend though, like I said, if you are strength training, protein, protein, protein. If you're a man, if you're a woman, young or old, protein for days. Days. All right, so it looks like we don't have any other questions. Hopefully I answered some questions you may have had. You have a kind of a better understanding of, hey, where do I even start? It's super simple. Don't make it complicated. Enjoy eating food. Just make sure you eat the right types of food and the right amount, and you'll be set. It's really not that hard. Just gotta be a little headstrong, right? I appreciate you guys being here. If you are watching this at a later time, thank you. Would love for you guys to drop a like or a comment on what you thought, what you want to talk about in the future. But I appreciate you guys. Have an awesome night, and thank you.